So I hope you're getting my voice and as well as my screen. So last class we are discussing about hub and spoke architecture, right? Basically. So it is nothing but to establish the communication between virtual machine in virtual machines of different clouds. So currently here AWS and Azure. So nothing but if you are creating some virtual machines, whether it is an AWS or even some Azure, right? So whether these two virtual machines communication is going to happen or not, or if you want to implement that type of architecture, right? So we need to aware of this hub and spoke architecture basically. Okay, so on yesterday we discussed about how to create virtual machines, I mean within this AWS point of view. So what are the steps it is included if you want to create some Windows virtual machine. So we have discussed on yesterday, right? I mean based on this respective diagram. So and even you know how to create a virtual machine, whether it is a Windows or Ubuntu in Azure point of view as well. So same thing yesterday we discussed about how to create a virtual machine within the AWS point of view. So today we are trying to implement this type of architecture here first of all. So first we're going with some Azure cloud. So within the Azure cloud, what are things we're having basically? Because here this virtual network gateway while creating or once this creation is going on, so mostly it will take some 10 to 15 minutes at least if you're having some good internet bandwidth. Okay, so creation, I mean creating of this VNG virtual network gateway within this Azure cloud, it is going to take some amount of time, right? So while this creation is going on, meanwhile we will try to create this yesterday whatever thing which I have done in the AWS point of view. These all these things we're going to do once again. Okay. So first of all, we will go with some Azure cloud. So what is the first one? We need to create some resource group, right? Within the Azure cloud account. So go to resource groups, click on create. So I'm giving some resource group name as spoke2. So you can go with some east US. Okay. Next tags. Next event create. Finally click on create. So then we need to create some virtual network, right? So just I'm taking name as spoke2-vnet. So go to this virtual networks, click on create. So what is the resource group? Spoke2. Provide some name as spoke2-vnet basically. Okay. Next IP address. So here I'm taking some 10.11.0.0/60. So these things we need to note down. Azure virtual network, the IP address. So this is the IP address basically. So we need to create some subnet as well. So I'm taking some name as spoke2-subnet, right? This is the subnet. Then I'm taking some 10.11.1.0/24. So Azure subnet or subnetwork, anything is fine. So this is the respective IP address. Click on add. So next security, next tags, next review and create. Finally click on create.
Done, huh?
So then we need to create some gateway subnet, right? Inside of spoke-subnet of spoke-vnet. I mean within ritual network. So we need to create some gateway subnet here. Okay. So go to this virtual network, click on it. Here we're already having subnets. So here we're having option called as a gateway subnets. Okay, so here we need to create some gateway subnet. So click on it. Okay, so let us take this IP address as well. Gateway. Click on save. So then we need to create some virtual network gateway. So we are taking some name as spoke-vng in gateway subnet. Go to gateway subnet. So go to this search bar and type some virtual network gateways. Okay, click on it. Click on create. So with the name as spoke-vng. So here we did not select a virtual network to get the resource group. So here what is our virtual network here? We are not getting any virtual network. Previously here itself we are going to get some resource group selection. Maybe now they have changed some features. No existing virtual networks in current subscription. Azure has provided primary center. So basically we have created an East US. Maybe now we are going to get some virtual network. Yes. Okay, so here if you observe this resource group, it is selected automatically. Okay, so they have changed some options basically. Okay, so but around maybe some 20 days or 30 days back, so it may not be like this. Basically you're going to select some resource group, so then only this location will be selected automatically, this region. So now if you're selecting some region, right, so we are able to get this virtual network and uh, even this resource group as well, right? So that thing we need to observe. So paste it here. So I'm taking name as spoke-bng. Okay. I think we are not getting some options. Okay, maybe you can take some spoke hyphen pip. So let me cross check it once again. We have got the resource group and we have given content. Reason is HTTPS. Next tags. Next review and create. Okay, click on create. So basically it is taking it will take around 10 to 15 minutes to create this virtual network gateway. Okay, maybe now they have reduced some options, maybe the time may be reduced, I'm not sure on that. Okay, so that is the one thing. And here finally we need to create some virtual machine, we will create that. Okay, so but meanwhile we will try to create some Azure, sorry, AWS cloud point of view. Yesterday we have created some VPC, right? VPC and subnet, route tables and internet gateways, right? So these things. So go to your VPCs, click on create VPC. So I'm taking some Apache hyphen VPC dot 10 dot 60. So note down this all these things, okay? Because somewhere we need to provide these IP addresses. PC in AWS dot 10 dot 0 slash 60. So this is Azure, right? Okay. So as you know that already, so whatever the name which you are providing, right? So it will automatically available in the tags option. So click on create VPC. Okay, so VPC is created. So then we need to create some subnet. Click on create subnet. So first of all, select your VPC, whatever the VPC which you have created. So subnet name, right? You can use some Apache hyphen, okay, Apache hyphen subnet. So 10 dot 10 dot 1 dot 0 slash 24. This is subnet. Okay, so here the same thing, whatever the name which you are providing, so that will be available here basically. Okay, in tags optional. So click on create subnet. So then route tables. Click on create a route table. So here you can use some name as Apache hyphen RT. Okay. Select your VPC, what are the VPC which you have created, and click on create route table. Okay. So now go to internet gateways. click on create internet gateway. So maybe some RG-IC. So click on create internet gateway and attach to VPC here. Select your VPC, attach internet gateway. Okay, so on yesterday, after that, what we have done basically, so go to this route tables, select the route table, whatever the route table which you have created, go to routes, right? Click on edit routes, add route. Here we have given all zeros and type some internet gateways. Okay, click on save changes. So go to again route tables, select the subnet associations, click on edit subnet associations, right? Select the whatever the subnet which you're already having, so just click on save associations. So then after that we're trying to create some Windows EC2 instance. So go to this instances new, click on launch instances. So type Windows, enter, select this one, select the micro, so here this you need to enable it. Okay, and here we are providing some primary IP address, right? You can use something 10.10.1.100. Primary IP. Okay, click on next, add storage. So next, add tags, click on add tag, you can give some name. So basically we are converting, if you observe on yesterday's discussions, so basically this existing whatever the windows which you are trying to create in AWS point of view, right? So we need to convert this one to RRAS, right? Nothing but routing and remote access service. So just I'm giving some RRAS. Okay, you can give any name, just I have given. So next, configuration security group, so you can give some name, maybe some Habachi, you can NSC, nothing but a network security group, NSC means. Okay, so here type nothing but all traffic. Okay, so then click on review and launch, finally click on launch. No keypad spawned, create a new keypad. So I'm giving some sorry, so download keypad, on launch instances. Till this virtual network gateway is taking time. Okay, So as you know that, so if you want to, if you want to log into this respect to instance in AWS point of view, right? So we need to get the password. For this, at least we need to wait for 4 minutes, right? So we need to wait. So meanwhile, if anybody is having any doubts, let me know. So basically, once if you're access this respect to Windows virtual machine in AWS point of view, right? So we need to convert this existing instance to RRAS. Okay. So whenever if you're trying to create two Linux machines here, basically, right? This is AWS Linux machine and this is nothing but a Azure Linux machine. So if these two Linux machines have different clouds, so need to communicate, right? So if you want to do that, first of all, we need to have some RRAS concept and as well as VNG. VNG in Azure cloud point of view, we already created, right? It is very simple. So just try to create some resource group and one virtual network, subnet and gateway subnet, and finally try to create some VNG. So by using this VNG, it was able to communicate to any other respective clouds here, basically. But in AWS point of view, so once if we created some Windows virtual machine, we need to convert this Windows virtual machine to RRAS. Okay, so that thing we need to do basically. Okay, so that thing we are trying to achieve now, basically. So after once if you are able to access this Windows virtual machine in AWS point of view, still we need to require some wait for 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. So and here also the same thing. Here having this is a public IP address, right? And this is a private IP address. So how we are getting in Azure point of view, same thing here in AWS point of view as well. Okay. So just we will note it down. Is all these things. Windows mission info. So so just click on connect. Go to RDP client. Right, we already taken some public IP. Username is administrator. Need to get the password. Click on get password. Browse. So here whatever the file we have already downloaded, right? So we need to browse that specific file. So Windows 1. Okay. Click on decrypt password. So copy this one. Okay, otherwise what we can do is okay, so go with RTP. So provide your public IP address. Go to RTP and connect. So provide the username and password. Paste it here. Click on connect. Click on S. Okay, so as I mentioned you, now we need to convert this AWS EC2 instance to RRAS, right? So for this, go to this Windows, click on Server Manager. So it is taking time to load basically. So if you observe here, right, something scrolling here. Okay, so now click on Manage, click on Add Roles and Features, click on Next, click on Next, click on Next. So here we need to choose some remote access. Click on Next. click on direct access VPN and routing. Click on next. Finally click on install. So it will take some time to install basically. So if you observe here, configuration required and installation succeeded on something EC2 Amazon, something like that, right? I think it is succeeded. Click on close. click on close. So go to start button here and go to Windows Administrative Tools. So here it is going to add some routing and remote access somewhere. See here, routing and remote access. Previously we don't have this feature. So click on it. So click on it here. Click on configure and enable routing remote access. Click on it. Next. Next. Select VPN. I think they have changed something. Give me 1 minute. Go to custom configuration. VPN and NAT. Next. Finish. Click on start service. Okay. So just we have enabled this one, routing and remote access. Beyond that we did not done anything. Okay. So now here if you observe, this virtual network gateway is created, right? So go to this virtual network gateway. Click on spoke-vng. Go to settings. Click on connections. Click on add. So I'm giving something spoke-connection. Okay. So type site to site virtual network gateway. Choose local network gateway. Click on create new. So spoke-LNG, nothing but a local network gateway, basically. Okay. So here IP address, nothing but public IP address of AWS. So here what is the public IP address here? This is the thing. Right. So just copy here and address space. So this thing we need to provide subnet of AWS. Copy this one here. Click on OK. So provide some key, some password. Click on OK. Okay, so meanwhile it is creating. Here what we can do is, meanwhile we can do, click on network interfaces, right click here, new domain dial interface, click on next, click on next, click on next. Maybe you can provide some name if you want. So here hyphen router, next, next, click on IKV2, click on next. So this destination address, okay, so basically this destination address we need to provide public IP of Spoke2 virtual network gateway. It is created. Go to overview, so click on this one or otherwise copy. So whatever the public IP which have got it after creating this virtual network gateway, there is nothing but Spoke2 FNBAG. So this IP address, right? So we need to paste it here. Okay. Click on next. Click on next. Click on add. So here destination, nothing but just we want to communicate from AWS to Azure, right? So here destination we need to provide some what we call Spoke2 VNet. Okay, whatever the Spoke2 VNet we're having. So just you can remove this one. Go to Spoke2 VNet, nothing but which this is the thing, right? Basically. Let me cross check it. Virtual networks. Ten dot 7.0.0. So copy this one. Here we are not able to provide 16, right? Basically 10.11.0.0. So here we are not able to provide some 16, right? So that is the reason provide some 255 0 0. Okay, some metric time, maybe I'm giving some 11 seconds or maybe some 15 seconds, whatever the time you want. Means so why we are following this time, you're able to get it. Okay, click on OK, click on next. Username, this one doesn't require. If you want, you can click on finish. Okay, so currently if you observe this connection state, it is in disconnected, right? So just right click here, go to properties, go to security, whatever the password which you are giving in virtual network gateway, right? The same thing we need to provide here. Basically, click on OK. Click on connect. So here you're going to get some pop-up 2 seconds, 3 seconds. This is nothing but whatever the time which I have given. There we have ordered some 15 seconds, right? So below 15 seconds itself, it is connected basically. So that is the reason we have provided that respect to seconds while configuring this network interface. Okay. So then what we can do is we will try to create some virtual machines in Azure point of view. So basically we need to create some Linux machine, right? Click on create. So if you observe here, so we need to create virtual machine with the name as something Azure Linux machine in Spoke2 subnet. Select the resource group, that is Spoke2, with the name as Azure Linux machine. Go with password. Provide username and password. Click on none. Next disks. So go with standard SSD. Next networking. So here you can choose this Spoke2 subnet basically. Okay. Next management. Click on disable. Next advanced. Next tags. Next review and create. Finally click on create. So now here also we need to create a one more virtual machine, that is nothing but a Linux here basically. Okay, so now we try to create some Linux virtual machine in AWS. So go to services, click on EC2. Right, so launch instances. So type some Ubuntu, click on enter. So you can select any of these Ubuntu's. So just I'm going with 18.4, or even you can go with some 20.4. The same thing, only just it is a version difference, I mean release. This is 18.4 and this is a 20, somewhat advanced version. That is the only difference. Okay. So click on this one, select. Click on next, configuration. So here you need to enable this one. So here primary IP, right? Something 10.10.1.150. This is a primary IP basically. Ten dot 10.1.150. Click on next, add storage. Click on next, add tags. So you can give some name, maybe some AWS. Click on next configuration security group. So we already created some security group in Windows, right? So you can choose as a select an existing security group, right? So here we have given some name as a Apache-NSC. So select this one. So select this one. Click on review on launch. Click on launch. So we already created, I mean, if you observe in Windows point of view, right, we already downloaded some key pair, right? So that is the reason I'm not going with new. So just I'm going with choose an existing key pair. So here, if you're having some multiple key pairs, so it will be available in this respective drop down. So currently we're having some Windows one, right? So acknowledge launch instances. Okay, so as you know, for getting password, it will take some 4 minutes of time. So any doubts still, any of you? So just we have created two Linux machines. One is in Azure point of view, and one more thing is AWS point of view. So this is the same key which we need to use for to access some Linux machine basically. Okay, but directly we are not able to access. We need to uh, convert this PEM key to private key by using putty generator. So we already aware about putty generator, right? So just we can convert this one. So it will require maybe some 15 to 20 minutes more. So go to this, select this AWS Linux machine, click on connect. Go to SSH client. So before that, right? So basically, if you observe this putty generator, right? Basically, it is going to generate some SSH keys, right? But currently, if you observe, so it is not a SSH key. It is done with extension as .pem file. Okay. So for this, so what we're going to do is, okay. So click on where it is. Click on load. So go to that one. All files. So basically we required a file with extension as .ppk. Okay, then only we are able to access any of this Linux machine, whether it is an AWS or Azure. But here, what is the format we're having? .pm format. So that is the reason we are converting this .pm to .ppk file by using this putty key generator. Okay, so click on save private key. Yes. So go to desktop. Maybe you can provide some AWS Linux SSH. Click on save. So now here if you observe, right? So if you want to access this Linux virtual machine in AWS point of view, so they have given some example value. So using this value, we need to access. So don't copy this one. Okay. So try to copy this. Go to putty here. Go to SSH. Click on authenticate. Browse and provide this whatever the key which I have saved already. Click on open. Click on open. Click on asset. Okay, so this is nothing but a AWS Linux machine, right? And here this is nothing but a Azure Linux machine. So just I'm closing with this putty generator. Go to this Azure Linux machine. Go to networking. Click on add inbound port rule. Port for all. Allow all the ports. Click on add. So just we are trying to access this Azure Linux. Copy this one. Accept. the username and password. So how to check whether this two Linux machines is communicating or not? By using which IP address we need to check it? So here if you observe, this is communication between two virtual machines, right? So whether it is a different virtual network or whether it is in different clouds, that is a secondary. So if you want to know whether the communication is happening or not, so basically if it is a if it is some internal communication between two VMs, so compulsory we need to go with a private IP address, right? So copy this one, 10.11.1.4. So you need to type in the respective IP address. So here it is not pinging, and even if you go to here instances, select this one. What is this private IP? 10.11.1.150, right? Here ping. So is it communicating here? So if you observe this one, basically it is not communicating, right? So if you observe this ping statistics, so it is structured there itself, means it is not communicating. Okay. So the thing is, now here we need to make a small change. Go to this RRAS, right? Right click on it. Go for networking. Click on change source and destination check. Check this stop button. Okay, check the stop. Click on save. Till it is not communicating. Okay. Now go to this. That is the one thing which we need to do. That thing we have done. And go to this VPC. Go to this route tables. Go to routes. Edit routes. So here, what is this Spoke2 VNet IP address here? This is the thing, right? Click on add route here. Search here network interface. Okay, so here you need to choose the RRAS. Click on save changes. So maybe now they're going to communicate. See here, now this communication is going on. Okay, so this is the, how can we establish some communication between two virtual machines of two different clouds? Is it fine? Any doubt, any of you? Hello, are you getting my voice?
Yes, Shiva, no doubts.
So just I am stopping here basically. Okay, so type some Control C. You also type some Control C. So as I mentioned you, right? So deleting of these virtual machines in AWS is somewhat not easy. So it is having some hierarchy as well. If you want to delete some what we call, if you want to delete some virtual machine. Okay, so first thing is go to this EC2 instances. Okay, select the instances. I don't want these two instances, right? Basically, so just I'm closing. Okay, so go to this instance state, click on terminate instance, click on terminate. Okay, this is the first step. Basically, if you want to delete some instance in AWS point of view, whatever the VMs or whatever the virtual machines, if you want to delete, this is the process. Basically, first go to this EC2s and select the respective VMs, right, and go to this instance state, click on terminate instance. Okay, this is the first one. So now go to this VPC dashboard, select route tables, click on edit route, remove the routes, whatever the routes which you have created, click on remove, click on save changes. Go to again route tables, select the subnet associations, click on edit subnet associations, right? So just need to click on remove, click on save associations. Okay, so now select this route, go to actions, delete route table on delete. Okay, first we have deleted some route table. So then go to internet gateways, go to actions. First of all, detach from PPC. Click on detach from PPC. Okay, it is detached. Now go to actions, delete internet gateway. Type here, delete. Click on delete internet gateway. Okay. So do we have any subnets? Yes. Click on this. Go to actions, delete subnet. Click on delete. Okay, finally go to your VPCs, select the VPC, click on actions, delete VPC. So finally go to VPC dashboard. Still, if you're having anything, you can check it. VPC is 0, subnet 0, route table 0, internet gateway is also 0. All of these things are deleted, right? And finally, it will take some time to delete this EC2 instances here. Once this VPC dashboard is clear completely, right? So currently instance state is terminated. So in order to remove these, RRAS and AWS Linux machines, these two things, right? Within this respective list of virtual machines. So currently we removed all the virtual machines. So our intention is finally, once if we remove this, we are not able to see any virtual machines in this respective instances list, right? But currently we're having some instances, so it will take maybe some less than 10 minutes. Sometime it will take some time as well. So to delete these instances finally, okay, finally at some point of time, so we are unable to see these two instances as well. So this is the way how to delete a virtual machines in the AWS cloud point of view. Okay, so this is the nothing but hub and spoke architecture. So anyway, you know how to delete virtual machine in Azure point of view. Okay, so any doubts, any of you? Fine.
Fine, Shiva.
Swati, Narasimha, Jagdish, Vidya, Imran, Sujit.
Fine, Shiva.
Okay, so just I'm stopping the recording. Sorry. So that's all for today basically.